C'était en Suisse, à Davos.
It was in Switzerland, in Davos, January 2016, that the 2,000 greatest economists in the world came together to launch the new industrial revolution, the fourth of its kind. What does it consist of? Artificial intelligence, biotechnologies, and humanoid robots. That's what you can read in any book on the subject. But today we are all going to learn how the heart and the spirit of this fourth industrial revolution was truly born. We call it transcendence. How do you transform something that drains your energy by 15,000 volts into something that is going to give you energy? 15,000, 30,000 volts, maybe more, whether to yourself or to others, maybe even to all of humanity. And this is exactly the human heart and the spirit of this new industrial revolution. Let's go back now to 1700. In 1700, the first industrial revolution began. The revolution of mechanization, textile mechanization, agricultural mechanization. It revolutionized people's lives at that time. At that time, the Industrial Revolution, those new technologies responded to the general population's physiological needs, the first stage of Maslow's pyramid. And during this time, from 1700 to 1860, human beings who were formerly subject to a king, who had the right to decide whether they lived or died, became citizens. Citizens with equal rights for all, these same rights being applicable to the king. They could even take the king to court. This seems like nothing to us today. It was an absolute human revolution at the time. In 1860, the Second Industrial Revolution began, the biggest industrial revolution, bringing mass-producing industrialization, which was based on coal. It allowed us to manufacture goods, to go from craftsmanship to the production of millions of objects. And during this same period, from 1860 to 1960-1970, another human revolution happened. In 1860, only 2% of the population could read and write. They were erudites. 100 years later, this ratio became inverted. 98% of the population could read and write. And it changed everything. We don't realize it today, but it changed everything. In the same time period, social rights came about. Men's right to vote, then women's right to vote, social rights, social security, etc. We have now arrived at what we once called Homo economicus, the golden age at the end of the period between 1944 and 1974. Right before the first oil crisis. The third industrial revolution, the industrial revolution which we are currently moving away from, the one which brought computers, the internet, the automatization of businesses. At the time, it was the need for belonging, the third stage of Maslow's pyramid, that was answered to among the general population. What does the need for love and belonging mean during the third industrial revolution? It meant the booming of big brands. Look at my Nikes, my Levi's, my Rolex, my Hermes scarf. These brands were actually feeding the human need for belonging. The third stage of needs, according to Maslow's pyramid. With this product, I feel as though I belong to the community of those who wear the same product. I feel even more as though I'm a part of a community of friends, of family. I feel nourished on that level. So that period, according to Davos, officially ended in 2015. From 2016 onwards, we entered the fourth industrial revolution. To what needs is this industrial revolution going to respond? The fourth stage of Maslow's pyramid. After physiological needs, the need for security, the need for belonging, the economy 4.0 is going to answer to human beings' need for esteem. What does esteem mean? The esteem of others, self-esteem, love from others, love of oneself. It's loving myself and others. That's the program and the destination of the products and services that are going to be designed and are going to be successful during this industrial revolution, which has already begun. And by the way, we are going to take an example. A couple of years ago, a big fast food company, and I don't recommend eating there, especially every day, launched an international campaign on a global scale. That campaign was saying, "Come as you are." I can see that some people went to those fast food restaurants at the time. In fact, come as you are. What does the human brain understand at that particular moment? I am accepted as I am. I am esteemed as I am. I am loved as I am, and if I am loved as I am, I can authorize myself to love myself. I am worthy of loving myself. But what does loving myself mean? What does loving oneself mean? Well, this is exactly the point. My qualities? Yeah, sure, I like them, no worries. Learning to love myself, that's everything else. Learning to love everything else. My dark sides, my vulnerabilities, my weaknesses, my limits, my flaws, what I don't want to know, what I don't want to show. In order to love all these dark sides, I must firstly learn to accept them. And then I must learn to transcend them. This is exactly what Louis de Rongs did from 2013 to 2015. And this is why I think incarnated at that time the heart and the spirit of the beginning of the birth of the fourth industrial revolution. Now imagine, you get your engineer diploma, you have it in your hand, you work for the biggest or the smallest companies in the world. Maybe you have even started your own company. What if all the employees in a company learn to love their dark sides? Imagine all that this could do. Imagine that all of the employees in a company contribute to making products and services that help their customers to work on themselves, to accept and to advance on transcending all of those dark sides. Imagine that in the end, all the customers we once called consumers are not called consumers anymore today. They are human beings, just like employees and entrepreneurs. And with my customers, I am waving, and we can all wave a partnership between equals, win-win. The winner-loser paradigm is over. Imagine that all these customers become ambassadors for your company, and they talk about it every day.
Regardez, je me suis acheté le
Look,
nouveau
I bought the latest product from that
nouvel
company.
appareil de cette entreprise. Et si j'en parle
And
pas
if I'm not
une
talking
fois,
about
deux
it
fois,
once,
cinq
twice,
fois,
or 5
à ma
times a
famille,
day to my family, to my friends, and to my colleagues,
mais c'est qu'on m'a coupé la langue.
it's because my tongue must have
Et là,
been
vous pensez
cut
peut-être
off.
à un célèbre
Here
fabricant
you might think of a
d'appareils
famous electronic
dont le symbole est un
manufacturer
fruit.
whose logo is a fruit.
Combien ça coûte
How much does it cost for my customers to talk about our company to their families, to their friends, and their colleagues every day? A company which enables them to
0
grow.
€ d'investissement.
It costs nothing. €0 of investment at that moment.
Maintenant, dernière question.
Now, one last question for you.
À vous qui allez bientôt
You who are going to bag
avoir
your
votre
diplomas
diplôme en
soon.
poche. Quel est le point commun
What
entre
is the common point
les trois
between
technologies,
the
les
three
trois
new
nouvelles
technologies
4.0
4.0
de cette économie
of the
capitalistique?
economy 4.0?
L'intelligence
Artificial intelligence tries to copy and to surpass
de copier
human
et de dépasser
intelligence.
l'intelligence humaine. Les biotechnologies
Biotechnologies try to increase
d'augmenter
human
les
potentials inside and outside the body.
Et enfin, les
Finally,
robots humanoïdes
humanoid robots try to copy human behavior.
pour la première fois dans l'histoire de l'humanité.
For the first time in human history,
Les technologies
the
à la
new
base
technologies at the
d'une nouvelle
foundation
révolution
of a
industrielle
new industrial revolution have one common focus: human beings. This is the first time, and we have called it the Human Connection Economy 4.0.
Merci pour votre attention.
Thank you for your attention.